Hey guys, Rudy here, local resident CrossFitter at Arlington Nutrition Corners. It's Tuesday, it's raining outside. Traffic is kind of slow in the store, so I thought I would, drop some knowledge bombs for those of you looking to get into some sort of joint supplementation. Um, Living or being an athlete, you should be taking care of yourself in all aspects. When it comes to post-workout shakes, getting in your branched chain amino acids, things like that, are easily looked at. But what gets overlooked is supplementing joints. For me, especially the first couple of years doing CrossFit, of course, I lived into the, let's get a post-workout shake to refuel the system, but there was never any emphasis on, what I should be taking other than a fish oil. Especially for functional fitness means. Being a CrossFitter, I'm beating my joints into the ground, and it's definitely something that should be talked about in the realm of CrossFit. From doing muscle ups to, doing burpees. You're working everything, not just CrossFitters, gymnasts, bodybuilders, especially if you know for a fact if you know that you're hard on your joints, man. You got to start taking care of them. It's no different than taking that extra step and giving yourself that preventative medicine. So a couple of things that we're going to talk about. One of them that I have here is glucosamine. Glucosamine is made up of two things, which is going to be glucose, which is sugar, and glutamine, which is amino acids. And all that does is it attracts and it'll bind water into the cartilage, and it'll increase resiliency so that that band that your muscles are made up of, it'll increase that. So you want to make sure that you have elasticity in the joints in itself. So when you're doing a squat, you can bring yourself back up. It's also going to repair eroded cartilage, especially if you know for a fact you're doing a lot of high reps with heavy weights, man. It's necessary. It's preventative medicine. The next thing we'll talk about is chondroitin. And all that does is it bonds the cartilagen to form the basis of the connective tissue. It helps bring nutrients into cartilage and provides more of like a shock absorption to the actual joints. So those are two things that, me personally, I use. I do use a couple of other things. Supracissus is one of them. So all this it's going to be an anti-inflammatory. It's been proven in a couple of studies that it'll relieve the joints a little bit of the pressure that's building on them. You're going to have a lot of organic supplements that will do the exact same thing. Curcumin, turmeric. Another thing that you should think about supplementing if you are looking into a joint is any type of like vitamin D, vitamin C, building strong bones and keeping your joints, just keep maintaining the health in your joints is key. I had a lot of issues, especially in the world of CrossFit. You're doing these movements where you're hyperextending, and you're doing these snatches, and you're catching heavy weight at a position that your body wasn't really meant to be in. And I walked away. I didn't necessarily walk away from CrossFit, but there were a couple of days where, I wouldn't be able to train as hard as I wanted to because of what was being done to my joints. And then I would have to take it easy. So started doing some research into seeing how I can prevent these issues from happening. Obviously, mobility is key. So, making sure you're warming up properly and, stretching in every manner. I always do a couple of warm-up sets before I do anything. Bands are an amazing tool. So using those bands at whatever gym, getting some resistance work in, activating the shoulders, before you squat, hitting a couple of just regular body weight squats is definitely something that I would recommend to work on. not only that, it kind of gets you into the practice of getting out of that hole really fast. But then when it came to joint supplements, me personally, I take Flex, which has a combination of pretty much everything. It's a total of 8 tablets. There you go. Total of 8 tablets, 4 in the morning, 4 at night, or you can split it up however you want. So I mean, it's one of those things where it's not really addressed. But I mean, if you're training hard and if you know for a fact if you're being rough on your joints, then maybe it is something that you should look into. You have to think of it as doing your best to prevent injury, or pushing your body. So if you have any questions, reach out to anyone at the Nutrition Corners. You can tag us on your Instagram account at the Nutrition Corners. Or just stop in at a local store. If you're in Virginia Beach, we have Virginia Beach Nutrition Corners, Newport News, obviously in Arlington, and then as well as the newest store to the family, which would be Dulles Nutrition Corners. So once again, if you have any questions, stop on in. Boom!